Let's be real, so much of our lives are online now, from our money to our friendships. Because of that, knowing the basics of cybersecurity isn't just for the tech geeks anymore. Nope, it's for absolutely everyone. All right, let's jump right into the essentials of keeping our digital world safe. So let me ask you this. How secure do you think your digital life really is? It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer, well, it's a lot more complicated. Every single time you click, you log in, you connect, you're opening a door. The real question is, do you have any idea who or what might be waiting on the other side? At the very core of this whole problem is one thing: cybercrime. And this isn't some far-off abstract idea. We're talking about any illegal act that uses tech to get at our computer systems and, more importantly, the super valuable data they're holding. It's basically the digital version of a home invasion, and it's the main challenge we're going to unpack. Okay, so before you can build a good defense, you've got to understand the battlefield. So let's take a look at what the modern threat landscape actually looks like. I want you to think of the threat landscape as like a weather map for all the digital dangers out there. The thing is, this map is never the same. It is constantly shifting and changing as bad actors cook up new ways to attack, and as we find new weaknesses in the tech we rely on every single day. So, who are the bad guys in this whole scenario, and what are they using? Let's break down the most common weapons in their digital arsenal. First up, we've got ransomware. Honestly, this is a digital hostage situation, plain and simple. Nasty software gets in, locks up all your files, and then the attackers demand cash to give you the key back. And to make it even worse, sometimes they'll threaten to leak all your private data to the world if you don't pay up. It's brutal. Next is malware, which is just short for malicious software. Think of this as the all-in-one toolkit for cybercriminals. It includes everything from viruses that just mess up your files to spyware that secretly watches and records every single thing you type. It's the multi-purpose weapon of the digital underworld. And then you've got phishing. Now this one is different. It's not about complex code, breaking down digital walls. It's about tricking you. Phishing attacks are basically digital con artists. They use slick, deceptive emails or fake websites to fool you into just handing over the keys to your accounts. Okay, now check this out because this shows a more technical attack, and it's fascinating. On the left, you see a totally normal piece of code a website uses to look up a user. But look at the right. An attacker just slipped in that tiny phrase, or 1 equals 1. It seems like nothing, right? But that little trick completely bypasses the login and can give them access to the entire user database. It just goes to show how a tiny crack can bring the whole wall down. And finally, picture a 1,000-lane traffic jam blocking every single road to your favorite online store. That's a denial of service attack. It just floods a website with so much junk traffic that nobody real can get through. It's not about stealing your data. It's about causing chaos and shutting things down completely. All right, so we've seen the weapons. That's the scary stuff. But this isn't a one-sided fight, not by a long shot. So now, let's flip the coin and talk about the cybersecurity shield, how we actually fight back. So what is cybersecurity, really? Well, it's the practice of protecting everything, and I mean everything, from your phone in your pocket to huge global networks, from all those threats we just talked about. And it's not just one thing. It's a mix of smart strategies, cool tech, and honestly, just good habits. Building a solid defense is kind of like building a fortress, and every good fortress has layers. It all starts with access control. That's deciding who gets to even knock on the door. Then comes authentication, making them prove they are who they say they are. Once they're in, data integrity, make sure they can't mess with anything, and confidentiality keeps secrets under lock and key. And finally, audit logging is like your security camera system, recording everything just in case something goes wrong. These 5 things, they are the absolute bedrock of digital security. And the battlefield is huge. We're not just protecting one little thing. We're fighting on all fronts. We're securing the networks with things like firewalls. We're locking down the applications we use every day. We're protecting the information itself with encryption. We're securing the cloud. We're defending our endpoints, our laptops and phones. And we even have a disaster recovery plan for when, inevitably, things go sideways. It's a massive effort. But here's the thing. Technology alone can't solve this. It's about people and it's about rules. So that brings us to the laws and the big picture strategies that help organize our defense on a global scale. This table gives us a really cool snapshot of how the world is trying to deal with cybercrime. You can see the legal side with big laws like Europe's GDPR, which is all about data privacy. Then you have India's specific approach with its own IT Act. And then there's the global perspective, which is all about countries working together through groups like Interpol. Everybody faces similar challenges, but how they enforce the rules can be pretty different depending on where you are. And these laws have real teeth. Let's just take India's IT Act as an example. If you get convicted of hacking, we're not talking about a little slap on the wrist. You could be facing up to 3 years behind bars. And on top of the jail time, you could be hit with a pretty hefty fine, up to 5 lakh rupees. So yeah, the consequences are serious. They hit your freedom and your wallet. But when you boil it all down, this fight really comes down to people. So let's look at the human element on both sides of the screen. So what makes a cybercriminal tick? It's not always just one thing. Their motivations are all over the place. You've got your black hat hackers and organized crime groups who are just in it for the money. But then you've also got threats from the inside, like a disgruntled employee, or even gray hat hackers who might break in just to show that they can. And this quote right here, it just nails it. Behind every single attack, there is a person with a motive. These aren't random acts of nature. They are planned, deliberate actions by people looking to take advantage of a weakness for their own gain. Which really brings us to the final big question. As we plug more and more of our lives into this digital world, we have to ask ourselves, whose job is it to keep it all safe? Is cybersecurity just a job for the experts? Or is it a responsibility that falls on every single one of us? That's something we're thinking about.